Hey superstars, welcome to the Get Rich Without Being a Bitch podcast. And I am your host, Vanessa for this journey. We're going to be challenging some stereotypes, shattering glass ceilings, really looking at what it takes to live richly and to design a business that's going to support the life that you really want to be living. I'm going to be sharing lots of tips, tools, and strategies along the way, and I can't wait for you to join me on this journey. Hey superstars, welcome back to another episode of Get Rich Without Being a Bitch, where I share with you proven tips, strategies, mindset shifts to take you and your business to the next level. Now, I talk a lot about, your calendar, managing time, where are you spending time? And I know one of the big traps with women particularly and entrepreneurs is we just think if we could just be more productive, if we could just squeeze a little bit more in to the days, then we could get ahead, then we could get things to the next level. And it's actually a very, very dangerous trap. This is the recipe for burnout as well. When we start to tell ourselves, if I could just do more. And again, if we look at our calendar and we're like, well, I've been doing this amount for so long, and now I keep thinking I can do 20% more, it can be a really dangerous place to go. And we push ourselves to that place of overwhelm and burnout. Now, I think that this has its roots in something else. And I'll give you a couple of pointers of where my own thoughts are on this is I think women particularly have been validated and valued a lot for being busy, for multitasking, for keeping like all of the balls in the air, whether this is kids, schooling, their business, their spouses, their social life, like all of the things, right? They're giving back. And I think that as women, we are often really valued for that. We get a lot of validation, which again can be a really great stroke to our ego and make us want to do more of it. And it's also that place, I think it's insidious when we're valued for something that can also be harming us. And I am really starting to think about how society values us for these things that frankly keep us stuck. And it serves another purpose somewhere. Because if we get so busy that we are burning out, we don't get to put all of our time and energy and attention into that one thing that's going to make a real difference to us and make us, frankly, empowered. And yeah, I'm going to say it today. I think it serves quite a few people that women are not as empowered as they could be. It serves a lot of people that we get busy and burned out. So I know that was, always a validation that I got. Oh, if you ever want anything to be done, count on Vanessa. She'll get things done. I was volunteering here, there, and everywhere. Couldn't say no. Frankly, I still struggle with that today. I say no a lot more today, but there are still places where I find myself leaning in, right, and saying yes, and realizing that the reason I'm saying yes is because it's more about I want to be liked rather than I actually want to do the thing. And it's back to that old programming. So yes, I used to get a lot of validation and it was driving that behavior for me. Now, if you had a corporate background, again, when I was doing my corporate executive coaching, I used to see this a lot, right? You start to rise up through the ranks and what happens is you are taking on more responsibility. You are having to do more. You typically having to put in longer hours, right? I was working at the executive levels and most of the executives that I was working with were incredibly stressed out. That was the reason I was brought in to work with them because they'd taken on so much. They were having to work evenings and weekends to catch up, getting in early, getting into the office right before everybody else. But the reward of that was the big bucks paycheck. Right? And the perks, right? Back then there were company cars and health plans and all of these other things. So it was like, well, you kind of suck it up over here, but you've got these big, big perks and big fat salaries over there. And I think a lot of that has bred into us this mindset that we have to keep working harder and harder and taking on more in order to reap those rewards. And frankly, it is messed up and back to front. Because when we're in business for ourselves, we get to do things the way we want to do things. We don't have to follow society's rules. And frankly, if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner listening to this, why follow society? You're already in the minority of people that are doing something different. So like, we've got to get rid of those rules and that conditioning. And especially if you came from corporate previously, yeah, there's going to be a lot of conditioning that you've got to work through. But here's where I see what needs to happen when it comes to business. As a business owner, you have got to start looking at not managing your time, but managing your energy. Because yeah, you got to be smart with how you manage time, right? But again, I think it's back to, we've got the focus in the wrong place. You have only got so much energy, and you can be spending your days in energy draining activities or frankly, energy giving activities. When you spend the time in energy giving activities, you will naturally be more resourceful. You will be able to problem solve. You will find that you just have greater resilience. You will have greater creativity. These are really, really important qualities to have as a leader in your business. And if you start to spend that time in energy draining activities, you will find yourself getting resentful, right? The creativity goes down, and all of a sudden you're bitter, you're lacking in patience, all of those things that happen, and you're showing up in a way that you don't even like yourself. So what is the shift that has to be made? Well, the big shift is you've got to be spending your time, dedicating time and energy to the places where you excel. Back to, where are those places where you get validated for really doing things extremely well and they energize you, right? You've got to be looking at your calendar through that lens. And frankly, looking at your calendar, like take it over the last week and say, how much of my last week was spent in that zone of places where I really excel and I'm doing things that energize me as well? Chances are it's going to be lower than you wanted it to be. You've got to be spending time as well with things, again, it's linked to it, of course, energizing, but again, back to the things that you really enjoy, right? That lift you up and that frankly, only you can do as the business owner. The last E is about what brings in money. So it's what earns money for the business. And ideally, if you can keep your time focused and your energy focused on what you excel at, what energizes you and you enjoy, and what is going to earn you money, you will be in the small group of entrepreneurs that are actually spending time in high value activities as opposed to getting lost in the weeds and those low value activities that just get you bogged down and frankly, sometimes wanting to throw in the towel. So simple exercise for you to go through. And again, I would really recommend that you do this periodically, like as you plan your week, even next week, look at how your week is already mapped out. Look at it through the lens of those 3 E's: excel, energizing / enjoying, earning money. Do your activities align with those things? And if they don't, it is time to either delegate them, dump them, or defer them. Because the more you can put your focus on those 3 E's, you will naturally see your business taking off to the next level. As always, superstars, I love spending time with you. Love to hear what's resonating for you in today's episode as well. Love to hear your insights when you look at your own calendars. Please hit the subscribe button and don't forget to share this podcast with some of your women friends who are also running businesses. We want to spread the word and just get some really great content out there so that women are thriving and we're all doing better together.